On today's episode of Retro Randoms, we're going to take a look at some classic Tales from the Cryptkeeper action figures.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt ran on HBO from 1989 to 1996 and was one of my favorite TV shows of all time growing up as a child of the 80s and 90s. And of course, this was followed in 1993 by the Tales from the Cryptkeeper cartoon, as well as a revamped new Tales from the Cryptkeeper cartoon that came out in 1999.
I love this part.
Although the original Tales from the Cryptkeeper Cartoon Series only lasted for 2 seasons, it did feature plenty of awesome characters that the Cryptkeeper brought to our attention. And just like any other Saturday morning cartoon, these particular characters got their own action figures. And although I do not have the entire set, I do have 4 of the classic 1993 Ace Novelty Toys Tales from the Cryptkeeper action figures based on characters from the cartoon series. There were a total of 8 action figures to collect, including the werewolf, the vampire, the Cryptkeeper in a tuxedo, the mummy, and then of course we had the gargoyle, the original Cryptkeeper in his robes, and of course Frankenstein and zombie. Each of the action figures promised at least some basic articulation as well as movements. I mean, they're supposed to be action figures, right? We want to see some action. Take a look here, but this is one of my characters that are on box. This is the zombie, 5'2", 140 pounds, and every single action figure had a little card giving you the backstory of each character on the show. And let's take a look at this, guys. So this is the zombie from the Tales from the Cryptkeeper cartoon action series. This particular action figure is still in his original packaging, although the packaging in the card has seen better days. This particular zombie, oh man, KB Toys, look at that sticker from back in the day. Oh my goodness. 30 years old, still on his card, and he's got special actions. His right forearm will fall off, as well as his lower left leg will fall off, because, hey man, that's what zombies do. They fall to pieces, and they keep coming after you. Taking a look here, obviously the character inside the plastic is in mint condition. It's just too bad that the card itself and everything else just hasn't seen better days. Love the design, matches the character that was on the cartoon. When I look at this classic retro random treasure, you're like, wow, man, nearly 30 years ago, kids were tearing these out of their packaging, playing with them like crazy. Not as popular as other action figure brands, right? But, you know, Tales from the Crypt did have their own audience. Moving on, here he is, that 30-pound carcass, that bag of bones with the best puns in the world. There he is. There's our Cryptkeeper dressed up in a fancy tuxedo. Taking a look here at the articulation and how he moves. We don't get a ton of movement. There's no movement around the ankles or anything like that. The legs themselves only bend upwards at about 90 degrees, and same with the arms. They only bend upwards about 90 degrees. No movements around the wrist area or anything of that nature. Here, let me shake your hand, little fella. Now, the head does turn all the way around, which is kind of funny. And then underneath, on the back of his back here, we do have a little lever, which is supposed to be his action movements, and all it does, nothing too fancy, just kind of waves his arm. That's it, and it also kind of shakes his head a little bit, kind of like to demonstrate the Cryptkeeper doing his funny conversations and jokes and witty puns as he introduces the next video that you're about to watch. The Cryptkeeper in tuxedo is kind of goofy. He's kind of funny, man. Now, what's weird about these particular set of action figures is you do, the Cryptkeeper can stand up on his own. Some of the other characters in the set, which one of them I'll show you here in a minute, not as easily to get him to stand up and balance. Maybe it's because he's wearing those big wingtip tuxedo shoes. But as you can see here, I do love the artwork that they did here on his face. Pretty good representation of what the Tales from the Crypt character looked like. And of course, I love the painted green teeth and eyes. Really gives it that kind of menacing yet humorous personality and vibe coming off this character. And that goofy tuxedo. And the next one I want to show you here is this is the vampire. This is your Dracula from the Tales from the Cryptkeeper series. Dracula in a blue suit? Looks like he belongs on a cereal box. When it comes to his arm movements, it only flaps out to the sides just like that, not even all the way up. Legs, again, same thing. You can only move them at about a 90-degree angle. Here's his cape. His cape has seen better days, but let's not forget, guys, this thing is very old and out of the box. All in all, he's in pretty decent shape considering his age. If we lift up the back of his cape to get a little personal with him, you'll notice here that, yes, he does have his little lever that's supposed to make his arms flap and make his cape flap and all that, and honestly, it just doesn't work so good. Kind of cheesy. As you can see here, it's just not great. Yeah, man, he's got some long, crooked fingers, though. Kind of funny, and of course, you know, that's all they do. I mean, these were some pretty basic action figures when we were kids, and no matter how I position this guy, unless I lean him totally forward, like he's about ready to take a poop, he does not stand up on his own. As you can see right here, I have to position him like this to get him properly balanced to keep him from falling over, but that's how he stands. He definitely doesn't stand straight up. Not the greatest action figures in the world, probably why I never pursued collecting the entire 8-character set. And sure enough, just like the other characters that are in the set that were created by Ace Novelty, Ace Novelty did a pretty good job matching exactly what this character looks like on the cartoon series on the action figure replica. Poor guy's losing his hair with the paint that's come off. You always want to save the best for last, and this one right here is my absolute favorite in my little mini collection of Tales from the Cryptkeeper cartoon action figures. Here he is, the man himself, the legend. This is the Cryptkeeper in his original Cryptkeeper robes. That's right, here is the corpse, the one that we love the most. And the card itself, as well as the plastic, everything is in really good shape. This is a near mint piece, completely near mint on card. Not as beat up as the other one. Probably never ever gonna open this. And sure enough, you have the same face, same style of face painting, coloring, green around the eyes and all that. And if you ever wondered what the Cryptkeeper wore whenever he was telling us those funny tales of terror and doom, it was obviously sandals, guys. I love this piece, and I'm probably never going to open it and just keep it as part of my collection for a long time yet, especially due to the fantastic condition that the card and everything is in. And of course, just like the tuxedo, Tales from the Cryptkeeper action figure, he does the same movement where if you hit that little latch on his back, he'd raise his arm and twist his head to kind of simulate him talking, expressing himself and making jokes. And the funniest thing is when you look at his action card, this guy's 5'10", dudes. 5'10" and only 30 pounds. Well, how much can a bag of bones weigh? He does have sunken eyes and a scary stare, and he only weighs 30 pounds soaking wet, guys. I'll have another video published right after this one. We're going to do 2 videos on Tales from the Crypt. I do have another really cool collectible item that I want to show off to you that's not an action figure, so I hope you guys come back for the next video on that. If you're interested in collecting these Tales from the Cryptkeeper action figures, you could probably easily find these bad boys all over eBay or places like that. Me personally, because the figures themselves aren't that spectacular, I'm just fine sticking with the 4 I have. I don't need to chase down and get the other 4 to have the complete set. Although, you know, you never know. One day maybe that'll happen. Did you guys watch Tales from the Crypt growing up? Did you watch the live-action TV show? Did you read the comic books? The comic books from the 50s or when they reprinted them, which caused them to create all these television and cartoons? Did you guys watch them? Did you like them? Are you Tales from the Crypt fans? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Especially let me know what your favorite Tales from the Crypt stories are, if you remember them. Do me a favor, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up on the way out. Consider subscribing to support the channel. And come on back. The next video, we're going to show one more Tales from the Crypt collectible, then it's on to the next brand. Thanks so much, guys. You have a great day, and keep it random.
Tales from the Crypt.